The Inuit translates roughly to the people, and it refers to a group of culturally connected indigenous populations who live in the frozen climate far north, across some of the most inhospitable territory in the world. Around 148,000 Inuit people live, thrive and fight against the elements across Canada, Greenland and the United States. From these frozen wastelands, the Inuit have come forth with stories about strange supernatural creatures prowling the ice, often preying on any traveller too brave or unlucky to cross their paths. One such creature is the Qalupiluk. Traditional stories vary about the exact nature of the Qalupiluk, but it is usually described as a humanoid figure, sometimes male, sometimes female, with pale skin that warps and bobbles like that of a toad. Long hair droops down from its head, resembling rotting strands of seaweed, and around its lean yet muscular body, torn cloth that looks like the remnants of once human clothing hangs. In some accounts, the Qalupiluk's skin is more scaly, like a fish, and on its back is a large hood or pouch, sometimes made from cloth, sometimes attached to the Qalupiluk's body as a strange, slimy, green-skinned appendage. The hood or pouch exists for one reason, and one reason only: to allow the Qalupiluk to cram the bodies of children inside. It's said that this creature hides in the bone-chilling waters beneath the ice, waiting for an opportunity. If a child should stray too far from an adult, it reaches out from under the water, grabs the child by the feet, and carries them down into the icy depths. Some traditions say that the child drowns there and then, but others insist that the stolen children have later been seen playing out in the frozen wasteland with a large coiled line of seaweed wrapped around their ankles. Should anyone try to rescue the children, the Qalupiluk yanks on the seaweed and pulls them back under the water. In 1888, Franz Boas produced a report on the Inuit populations and some of their beliefs. It was published under the title The Central Eskimo, a term that is now widely abandoned. In that report, Franz spoke of a story spreading throughout the Inuit population. The account revolved around an old woman who lived with her grandson near the Inuit people. She and her grandson began to starve due to the horrendous winter, and one night as the child cried out for food, the grandmother cried out that she wished the Qalupiluk would take him away. Almost immediately, the tall, wet figure of the Qalupiluk appeared through the door of the hut. He opened up the large hood on his back, offering the darkness inside to the old woman. Unable to feed the child and starving herself, she placed the boy inside the hood, which immediately swallowed him up. The Qalupiluk then disappeared back out into the ice. Later that same year, the local Inuits had an abundance of seal meat and shared it with the old woman. When her belly was full, she lamented what she had done to her grandson and begged an Inuit couple to bring him back. They agreed that they would try. Occasionally, when the ice cracked open on the shore, the boy was sighted, climbing up onto the floating ice. He would play there, but as soon as the couple approached him, he would cry out and the Qalupiluk would pull him back under the ice. The child did not want to go back to his grandmother. Eventually, the Inuit couple hid behind an ice boulder and waited near a crack in the ice. When the boy appeared, they grabbed him and ran back to the shore before the Qalupiluk could catch them. It was said that the boy was not returned to his abusive grandparent, and instead the Inuit couple raised him, and he one day became a legendary hunter in that part of the world. It's clear then that the Qalupiluk story has parallels with the boogeyman, taking children away, in some versions punishing children for disobeying their elders, and in others keeping them prisoner somewhere deep in the ocean for an unknown purpose. Perhaps there is a domain of the Qalupiluk down there, a cave somewhere, where oxygen is present and the children may be kept alive, at least for a time. Perhaps they feed on them over there. Or maybe they just want to watch the human families grieve the greatest of all losses. Some researchers have proposed that the folklore surrounding the Qalupiluk serves to keep children away from places where the ice is thinnest. Do not go near the ice cracks, for something worse than death will snatch you away. Another part of the myth suggests that the long flowing hair of the Qalupiluk is kept healthy only through consuming young ones, absorbing their youth and keeping the rot from setting in, at least for a small time, until the next feast. The Qalupiluk, however, is not just a myth to be batted away easily as a story to scare children. There are suggestions that it may have been based on a real animal, perhaps even a cryptid, or something known that comes up out of the water and occasionally feeds on whatever it finds. In that part of the world there are walruses, whales, even sharks. Even the description of the hood could be akin to a mouth or fin. Of course, the Inuit know that region and its animals far more than I do, but perhaps occasionally when the snow falls, it's not as easy to identify a creature as it snatches away a child in the barely visible light. However, there is one thing about the Qalupiluk that leaves the door open for a supernatural explanation. You see, it resembles other stories of the sea from many different cultures living across many different regions. Why do sirens and mermaids and Qalupiluks all seem to share common descriptions and behaviours? Sometimes appearing as beautiful women, or sometimes appearing as hideously scaled creatures beneath the water, and in many cases connected deeply to luring people in to their doom. Perhaps there really is something swimming through the little-known currents of the world out of sight, and in this case, ice is the most perfect cover for an ambush of the most murderous kind. Thank you for watching The Spectral Companion. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell for future episodes, and of course, stay off the ice.